Sit down with me, let's have a cup of tea and talk about how a fingernail painting, pole dancing, 25-year-old breaks his MMA opponents physically and mentally. Of course, we're talking about Payton Talbott. Not your typical fighter. Someone who, if you looked at him in the street, the last thing that came to your mind would be an MMA fighter. But the kind of guy who has developed a career on breaking his opponents, both physically and mentally. Born on September 9th, 1998, Reno, Nevada. In his amateur career, he had a spell before he turned pro where every single fight ended in a finish. Not only that, every fight ended in a finish in round 2 or round 3, just adding more fuel to the fire of him breaking his opponents mentally late into the fight. One of the most interesting things about Payton Talbott is that he graduated college with a bachelor's in psychology. This is a guy who studies the mind as much as studies the body. He understands the mental game much more than a regular MMA fighter, and he uses it in the octagon. Talbott's entire style is based on walking you down, putting the pace on you, putting the pressure on you, smiling at you, talking to you, getting in your face, and using his presence as a weapon not only against your body but also against your mind. His physicality and skill set and boxing and striking toolbox is obvious, but his mind is where he really excels. This is where the psychology degree comes into play. Talbott has talked openly about the mental side of fighting. He doesn't just hit you, he makes you doubt yourself. He plays a chess game of mental warfare and ultimately makes you feel the inevitability of the end.
Everyday life and society, we have all of these things that we can bolster ourselves with, and we have all these camouflages that we can hide behind. But when you're in a cage and it locks and you're in there with somebody, all of your insecurities, all of your doubts, if you're being dishonest about anything about the fight, it will all come to light.
If you look at this guy's YouTube channel, the first thing you're gonna think is he is weird as hell. He's not an average guy. He's a creator, a strange personality. His YouTube channel is filled with bizarre, weird edits. He's skateboarding, pole dancing, polishing his nails, all while kneeing people in the skull. All shown on camera, wrapped up in a nice little Terrence McKenna Megadose style edit. When his opponents see his weirdness, his nail polish, his comfortable smirk, his talking inside the cage, they must be thinking, what the hell is going on? In his fight against Alex Gomez, it takes less than 2 minutes for him to put Alex down on the floor and have his opponent literally begging not to hit him anymore. Payton obliges. He says, okay, I won't hit you, I'll let you up. He lets him up and finishes the fight shortly thereafter. In his fight against Abdi Kaibal Kaldar, you can see insane pressure put on from Payton Talbott early to try and win the physical and mental game in the octagon. At the end of round 1, his opponent walks back to his corner and looks effed. The pressure he put on his opponent is second to none in this fight and has been a staple throughout his entire career. All throughout his career before he reached the UFC, he was walking people down, smiling at them, getting in their face, landing heavy body shots, big knees, every type of shot in the toolbox. But the one thing that stands out is how he looks at his opponents, how he smiles in there, how he laughs after he gets hit sometimes.
just talking smack right in the cage. Billy's in trouble. Okay. Catches a right hand, catches a knee.
Let's fast forward to his fight against Cameron Simon. I really want to speak about this one. This was a breakout performance for Payton Talbott. Going into that fight, I knew he was the type of guy that could break his opponent physically and mentally, but a lot of the betting community and a lot of the MMA community didn't know. The reason I speak about the betting community is because I'm a professional MMA bettor. I make a full-time income betting on MMA. And going into that fight, the odds for Payton Talbott and Cameron Simon, they were even odds, -110 apiece. It was a straight-up classic pick'em fight. What that means if you don't know, is that the betting public believed it was a 50-50 fight. Well, Payton Talbott went out there and completely dominated the fight. He walked Cameron down, applied the pressure, didn't wait for the perfect shot, started to chip away at him, not only physically but mentally, from literally the first second of the fight. The finish could have come in round 1, it just ends up coming in round 2. His opponent was already beaten mentally by the time the finish come physically, and I will say that Cameron Simon continued to fight, all respect to him, but he was in over his head here. Talbott's style of relentless pace, relentless confidence, and making his opponents doubt themselves is a lethal combination. I ended up winning over $50,000 on Payton Talbott in that fight, and so Payton quickly rose to be one of my favorite fighters. If you want to know how I make a full-time income betting on MMA and how you can do it too, the link is in my bio. Now, Payton hasn't broke every single one of his opponents. There was one opponent he wasn't able to do that to, and that was Raoni Barcelos, the first and only loss of his career. Raoni put on the perfect game plan, relentless takedowns. Takedown, takedown, takedown. If there is any weakness in Talbott's game, it would be the wrestling. But this fight actually tells a deeper tale of Payton's mindset. In that fight against Raoni, he was slammed on his neck at some point during the contest, and he suffered a devastating injury while in the cage. His equilibrium went off, his balance faltered, and he suffered from vertigo almost immediately. It was a spinal injury, and where most men would have quit, Payton Talbott kept fighting, even had his own moments in the fight, and did not get finished against one of the top fighters, a veteran in MMA, and someone who has consistently hovered around the top 10 on the entire planet in his weight class. Payton spoke after that loss about how he was rushed to hospital on more than one occasion, months after the fight, from the injury sustained in the fight, which developed into vertigo.
I don't like to make excuses or anything. Like, he compromised my body to get it there, you know? That third round when my head hit the cage, like the last time I got taken down, I couldn't really tell left from right or up from down. Probably one of the most intense things I've ever experienced. Like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Like, it's truly a terrifying feeling.
I honestly feel like him finishing that fight, not getting finished, and even having moments after the injury says a lot more about him than the loss itself does on paper. Like, if they rebook that fight, I'm picking Payton Talbott all day. I'll probably even bet on him. So why is Payton's mental game so successful? Well, first of all, he's got elite durability, right? So he can take a lot of punishment, which obviously helps him dish out that mental warfare when his opponents are cracking him with everything and he's not really getting hurt. He builds his dominance early by walking his opponents down, applying the pace, and creates dysfunction and discomfort in his opponent's mind. His finishes come when his opponents have been mentally compromised. The physical finish is only a consequence of the mental defeat. And what you can learn from this, whether you're a fighter yourself or you just follow the fight game, is that the mental game starts long before the physical confrontation. Talbott's finishes are not fluky. There's a strong pattern in that every single finish except for one, his entire amateur and pro career, have been in round 2 or round 3. They're not early finishes. He's not going out there and just putting people out with one punch outside of Yanis Gamori. He is going out there and breaking his opponents down bit by bit, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. So next time you watch Payton walk into the cage, smile during an exchange, or stare his opponent down while adjusting his little nail polish, you know what's really happening behind the scenes. When the mind gives up, the body follows shortly thereafter. That's how he breaks his opponents, physically and mentally. If you like this breakdown, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep your mind sharp. Don't hand over the game early, whether you're inside or outside the cage.